You know, it's not every day that I find myself sympathizing with the organization that calls itself GLAAD, which is short for the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. These are people who, contrary to their branding, smear and defame other people for a living, including myself. They're as radical and unpleasant as any other fake nonprofit that traffics in gender ideology. The day GLAAD is finally shut down will be a major victory for sanity and free speech and everything else in this country. But today, I have to admit that I do have some semblance of pity for these people. And that's because I saw some clips from something called the GLAAD Media Awards, which is an annual ceremony in which they give awards to entertainers who advance the LGBT agenda in some way. And as I saw the footage from the other day, it occurred to me that this is probably one of the hardest award shows to pull off simply because it's redundant in every imaginable way. The Oscars and Grammys have already taken place, and that means that gay men and liberal women have already convened this year multiple times to shower each other with awards based on their respective sexual identities and orientations. Billie Eilish and that trans actor who plays the singing drug dealer have already had their time in the spotlight. And after both of those award shows, GLAAD is left to basically do the same thing. So they are, once again, hosting a gay award show, except, of course, they have a much lower budget at the GLAAD Media Awards. And in practice, that means we get mildly entertaining moments like this one, where in a moment of inspiration, the lesbian rapper known as Doechii, I think, decided to perform a couple of lines from one of her songs without the benefit of a backing track of any kind. And in the process, she proved that she, of course, can't actually sing. Watch.
The GLAAD Media Award goes to. You say it.
No, let's say it together.
Okay.
Doechii!
Thank you.
What? Put the money in my hands. I'm in Gucci and I'm What's up, GLAAD Awards?
Now, in case you couldn't make it out, the lyrics were, put the mother effing money in my mother effing hands. I'm in Gucci in a bonnet, spending mother effing bands. Now, when she performed her song at the Grammys a few months ago, Doechii had the benefit of elaborate stage lighting, about 1,000 backup dancers, a bunch of synthetic audio enhancements. But at the GLAAD Awards, she's just a semi-literate woman screaming profanities at you, which of course she was the entire time. At the same time, there was one alleged entertainer at the GLAAD Awards who, against all odds, managed to make Doechii look like Shakespeare. I'm talking about the actress Cynthia Erivo, who starred in the film Wicked, which is some kind of take off of the Wizard of Oz. And during the GLAAD Awards ceremony, Cynthia managed to deliver a speech that was vacuous and incoherent, even by award show standards. Just absolute pablum from start to finish. But you wouldn't know that if you got your news from the mainstream press, for reasons that aren't entirely clear. Various media outlets have lavished this speech with over-the-top praise. CNN, for example, said that Cynthia's speech was inspiring. They also posted the full transcript of the speech on their website, like it was the State of the Union address or something. Meanwhile, USA Today called the speech a tearjerker. Yahoo called it powerful, and so on and so on and so on. And you know what that means, of course. We have to go through Cynthia's speech piece by piece and make fun of it. It's my duty. It's why this segment exists. Yes, so we're going to extract some entertainment value against all odds from the GLAAD Awards if we can. And to that end, behold the beginning of Cynthia's remarks. If you're a mainstream media journalist, steel yourself because the tears are about to start flowing. Listen.
Here in this room, we have all been the recipients of the gift that is the opportunity to be more. I doubt that it has come easy to any of us, but more. For some, the road has not been one paved with yellow bricks, but instead paved with bumps and potholes.
This is worth reading out loud one more time. And as I read this, keep in mind that somebody was paid to write it. And then Cynthia read it. And then the entire corporate media celebrated it. She says, quote, here in this room, we have all been the recipients of the gift that is the opportunity to be more. I doubt that it has come easy to any of us, but more for some, the road has not been one paved with yellow bricks, but instead paved with bumps and potholes. Now, the more I read this particular passage, the more it becomes clear that there's really only one explanation for its existence. Cynthia must have hired Kamala Harris's speechwriter. If Kamala Harris were the president today, there's no doubt whatsoever that we'd be hearing about how everyone in the room is the recipient of the gift that is the opportunity to be more. Just a perfect Kamalaism right there. And then we'd be hearing about how the roads are paved with potholes, as if that's a normal part of the process of road construction. You see, when you're mixing metaphors and your IQ is below 80, you find yourself making mistakes like this. You start sputtering out lines that, of course, make no sense whatsoever. Aging creeps into everyday life in ways you hardly notice at first. The morning takes a bit longer. You find yourself needing more recovery time after activities, and you start choosing the comfortable shoes without a second thought. I clearly don't age and am still in my prime, as you can tell, but for the rest of you, luckily, there's Qualia Life to take the edge off getting old. Qualia Senolytic is a formula that's been clinically tested to help your body get rid of those pesky senescent cells naturally, so you can age more gracefully. These cells are basically what cause all those annoying aging symptoms that we deal with, aches and pains, taking forever to bounce back after workout, the mental and physical sluggishness that makes you think, is this what middle age feels like? Helps you tackle all that stuff. Plus, it's not some annoying supplement that you have to remember to take every single day. You only need to take it for 2 days each month, and it helps your body naturally eliminate senescent cells. Experience the science of feeling younger. Go to qualialife.com/Walsh for up to 50% off your purchase and use code Walsh for an additional 15%. That's QUALIA life.com/Walsh for an extra 15% off your purchase. Your older self will thank you. And thanks to Qualia for sponsoring this episode. But I interrupted Cynthia, so let's continue with her inspiring and monumental, and as the media says, powerful speech. This is where things start getting heavy, and she begins talking about invisible people who lurk among us. Sounds, kind of frightening, but here it is. Watch.
Whichever road you have traveled, how beautiful it is that you've had a road to travel on at all. There are the invisible ones who have had no road at all. For those who have not even yet to begin to find the road, be encouraged and be patient with yourself. It will show itself. For the person who is searching and has not found it yet. This room is full of people who can and will if they choose, and I hope they will, because I do, to be lanterns, to light up your journey and your path on the way to showing the world who you are.
So let's chart this the best we can. She says, whichever road you have traveled, how beautiful it is that you've had a road to travel on at all. There are the invisible ones who have no road at all. In other words, there are invisible ones who do not have any road to travel. That means they have no path, period. They can't see the road because it's not there. And additionally, no one can see these invisible ones because they're invisible. So there's no road, they're invisible. It's a tough situation to be in. Circumstances are pretty dire in the metaphor that Kamala Harris' speechwriter has established. But then we get this line, quote, for those who have not yet even begun to find the road, be encouraged and be patient with yourself. It will show itself. Which adds a couple of layers of complexity to the situation. Now we're told that if the invisible people are patient, then the road will show itself. And this is the same road that a second ago supposedly didn't exist at all, according to Cynthia. But now she's implying the road will spontaneously appear for these invisible people as long as they stop being impatient. That's her message to all the invisible people who don't see the road. She's really saying that they're the problem because they don't understand the concept of patience, I guess. But there's no point in dwelling on how Cynthia is insulting the millions of invisible people watching the GLAAD Awards, because just a few seconds later, she goes on to contradict herself once again, quote, the room is full of people who can and will if they choose, and I hope they will because I do, be the lanterns to light up your journey and your path on your way to showing the world who you are. And she adds that the invisible people are hoping for someone to come along and light their path. So now we're back to the idea that actually the road won't spontaneously reveal itself after all, and that's why apparently the invisible people would benefit from various entertainers at the GLAAD Awards using their lanterns to light up the path for the invisible people. And evidently this is a path that exists, even though a moment ago we were told that those people have no road at all, whether it's paved with potholes or not. Very crystal clear, inspiring message here. If you're an invisible person who exists in pitch black darkness, the message from the speech is that you're extremely impatient, and your life depends on a gay actor lighting a lantern for you. So good luck, I suppose. In case it's not obvious, the only person who's capable of reading a speech like this out loud without any hesitation whatsoever is a narcissist who's incapable of experiencing shame or embarrassment. It's not just poorly written, it's also extraordinarily self-assured when it has absolutely no reason to be. Cynthia, like everyone else in that room, has a pathological sense of superiority that is very much unearned. And at one point in the speech, she essentially admitted as much. Like all narcissists, she can't help herself. So watch as multimillionaire Cynthia wallows in self-pity about how difficult her life is before she announces that she is superior to you in every way. Watch.
It isn't easy. None of it is. Waking up and choosing to be yourself, proclaiming a space belongs to you when you don't feel welcomed. Teaching people on a daily basis how to address you, and dealing with the frustration of reteaching people a word that has been in the human vocabulary since the dawn of time. They, them. Words used to describe pedantically two or more people, poetically, a person who is simply more.
So this is the one moment in the GLAAD Awards that was actually revealing and somewhat interesting. Not how it was intended, of course, but it's kind of an incredible clip there. She says that they, them is pedantically used to describe two or more people, but then she says that they, them pronouns are poetically used to describe someone who is, quote, simply more. And this is what I've been saying about the non-binary phenomenon since I first heard about it. These are not people who are confused about their identities. This is not gender dysphoria. And this certainly isn't about someone struggling for equality or whatever. These are raging narcissists who believe that their inner experience is so much richer and more complex than the average person. You heard her say it. They believe that they are more than the rest of us, us normal people with our boring singular pronouns. Simply by declaring that their pronouns are they, them, they have achieved transcendence. And as a result, she's now forced to educate all the morons out there who can't comprehend this, even though, they, them has apparently been used, according to Cynthia, since the dawn of time. Yes, from the moment we had the concept of time, we had the English language and they, them pronouns. This is how these people think. They cannot comprehend that the world existed for even a moment without their delusional worldview. And that's why this entire award ceremony ultimately devolved into this unabashed display of narcissism in which a bunch of RuPaul's drag queens told everyone in attendance to hug themselves and recite a pledge about how amazing they are. This literally happened. Watch.
So I want to invite every single one of you, will you hold this? To wave your hands in the air like this. Wave them up in the air, charge it up. This isn't TV, I can see you. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Thank you. Now wrap them around yourselves and repeat after me. I truly love and accept myself. 1, 2, 3. I truly love and accept myself. That was a little depressing. Let's say it like we're at the GLAAD Awards, y'all. 1, 2, 3. I truly love and accept myself. No matter what anybody has to say to you or about you, always remember to truly love and accept who you are, when you are, where you are, how you are. You are perfect today.
So there we go. The acceptance speech ended with everyone at the GLAAD Awards hugging themselves and pronouncing that they love themselves as loudly as they could. If Cynthia's metaphors were mixed and incoherent, this one is pretty on the nose. You listen to the gender activists talk long enough, and sooner or later, it'll become obvious that they're not actually interested in acceptance or tolerance. They're not even really committed to their fake genders exactly. They're only committed to themselves. Gender ideology is, as I've always said, the ultimate expression of narcissism. And while Cynthia Erivo made very little sense throughout her incomprehensible rant, credit where it's due. She expressed that particular fact very, very clearly. And that is why Cynthia Erivo and the rest of the narcissists at the GLAAD Media Awards are today canceled. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.